So I hope you still have energy for the talk. I will stay in Palestine after Malik, and I will talk about something totally from the other side of the spectrum. It's a grassroots organization. It comes from the bottom up. It's not international. It's like really growing like a little seed. Disarming comes from the idea of actually changing the image of Palestinians, which comes in the media as people who are related to war and arms and weapons, but actually things that are alternative and beautiful, and also very ancient. Basically we do that through objects, through products that we actually create a production line for and we sell. Not on a mass scale, and we don't want to reach there, but we try to do that. The products are designed in Palestine, are made in Palestine, and they narrate stories from Palestine. I don't know why products got shrinked, but yeah, it should be not like that. Yeah. So that's what the products does, and the most important thing about it is that it narrates a story. Because we don't want to create one more product in the market. That's not what we want. What we want is actually to spread stories. And products is the way to do that. The founder of our organization is called Annelies de Wet. She's a Dutch woman that lives in Belgium. She came to Palestine through her project Subjective Atlas. She has this project that runs around the world, especially in conflict areas. So she came to Palestine to do this Subjective Atlas, 2012, something like that. And after she was done with the project, a very important question was addressed to her and from Mika Zacht, who worked at the time at ECHO. ECHO is the funder of the Subjective Atlas. So she asked, why don't we have Christmas balls from Bethlehem in Europe? Very simple question. I mean, Christmas is very important, and Bethlehem is the source of Christianity. Why don't we sell those in Europe? That triggered another meeting with a Palestinian who by the time was the head of the art academy in Ramallah. Who also understood the question really fast. That there is something here to work on, and they started this triangle to reach this objective. Just brainstorming at the beginning. This is where the Christmas balls are made, by the way. And Canaan time is like really ancient, so we're not talking about 100 years, we're talking about 1,000 years that this thing was made in Palestine. After the brainstorm, they reached their objective, where they decided to ask the question, how can creative practices contribute to a more sustainable society, especially in conflict areas, and human-centered economy, local economies. The format was that they came up with to do that was create shops, basically another word for workshop, where you actually bring these products to life. And this was the 2015 Create Shop, but the first one was in 2012. During these Create Shops, these designers, who are local and international, they brainstorm and find out their products as they go. The specialty of Annelies coming from the Sandberg Institute. She teaches in the Sandberg Institute in Holland. She heads the master design department there, and that's what she does there, actually trying to get people to design something very different and alternative. So she brings this knowledge to Palestine, and she works with her international students and the locals who who brings the stories, because it's their own stories. During the Create Shop, which goes for 2 weeks or a bit more, we call the first week an inspiration week, or I would say an alternative name is the cleaning of the mind week, where you actually change the way you thought before. We take the participants to museums, cultural places, to artisans, of course, to natural places, and we inspire them for what is there. Me personally, as part of the team of Disarming Design, I learned a lot about my country only after I joined the team. Here we see a designer that is very successful in Palestine, Nadia Hasbunova. She has her own shop, and she's talking here to a designer that, to a producer that works with olive wood, a really master in olive wood making, and he learned this skill from his father, who learned it through the ages back in 400, 500 years ago, where actually the craft mostly goes to making crosses and things that are religious, but he works here in a different manner. It's telling stories through products more than doing something religious. I mean contemporary stories. So they visit during the Create Shop all kind of artisans of wood, leather, copper, iron, sewers, silver here, even spices, calligraphy, you name it, so many things. Here we see one of the designers showing her work to somebody else through Skype in Gaza, who have been also going through a Create Shop. So that's the first week of inspiration. And then they get into starting to think about their product, creating 3 prototypes that by the end of the second week, it is their product that we will replicate later on. So this is one photo of a museum where they visited the museum. They get inspired by old ways of working, nature, hikes. Here we see that in the end of the design Create Shop, there's an exhibition where actually the artists exhibit their products. Here we have our Chinese designer who were invited to Palestine at that Create Shop last year, and this is one of the producers that we work with for the last 4 or 5 years, an amazing tailor. Through these exhibitions, the most important is that actually audience get to explore these new products. We have a lot of excitement in these exhibitions, not only from internationals but also from a lot of locals who are hungry and like really looking for a new design, something that is fresh, something that tells their own story. After we finish with the Create Shop, we start the process of creating, taking these prototypes to reach to product level where there's quality control, there's very precise work with the producers. I'm lucky enough that I have with me here my colleague Ghadir, who is the production manager in Disarming Design. She carries most of the most important work because she's really precise. And that is needed when you need to actually give the people reliability on giving the same product and again with the quality. The other thing that the website serves, this is the website, the other thing that the website serves is acting as an open source for any other organization or individual who would like to work with these artisans or with these artists or with our partners, because we believe not in competition. We believe that actually the solution is to share. In our website also we're transparent about the way we work, about the flow of money. I wouldn't explain that, but the most important thing is that the whole diagram works that we bring more support to these artisans that are actually, distinguishing, exactly. They are facing a huge challenge, and they're going through closing their shops, becoming construction workers, taxi drivers, and you name it. also going out of their cities and going to Israel or abroad to America to work. And it's if you think about it, it's the last person who carried the knowledge. If they disappear, nobody will learn it. So that's the most important, practical thing that we do. Now getting into the stories we want to tell behind these products, not we, but actually the designers themselves. I will go through some of these designs, some of these products, and I will show where it was inspired from. So this product that is available on the 3rd floor is the Awakening goggles. It's an embroidery technique that was used in Palestine for so long, but it was used in a specific way. There is embroidery all over the world that is very similar in many times. It always tells the stories of which flowers, what's the landscape, what kind of social level you are, and so on. But here we take this practice and we actually pixelate the eyes of the producer, who is from Gaza. We pixelate it on the Photoshop, and she herself actually sew her eyes again and again and again. Why this woman? Especially because Gaza is enclosed. This is the woman. This is the maker. Gaza is enclosed with a wall. I will show you the wall later on, and people inside cannot leave. So it's 2 million people almost in a small area, and there's so much restrictions on them. So at least you can take her eyes and show her the world because she can't. This is another product that inspired by the map I showed. So this is the map of Gaza, and this is the product, a very strange box that is very hard to fit anything in, except for a few flowers. So this gives the experience of trying to work around with something that is not really logical. That's one more thing that comes from Gaza, an innocent toy, supposedly. It's called Hasaka. Hasaka is the name of these boats. And the very unique thing, it's boats that exist in Gaza. It's for fishermen, they use it. The unique thing about it is the rope. The rope represents the restrictions on fishermen inside the sea. In Gaza, they cannot go more than 9 to 10 kilometers inside the sea. And that, of course, affects a lot the economy. And which in Gaza is like really the main thing is to fish. So the war is a war of business. It's a war of money. And that's the most important, that people won't have that. Talking about the wall that surrounds Gaza, which inspires also a lot of products, it's supposed to become 650 kilometers. So it's huge. There's a German there that wrote on the wall, "I am a Berliner." The wall is 8 meters high, at least, and it runs around Gaza and the West Bank and inside the West Bank as well. On this wall there is watchtowers. These watchtowers are almost 50 meters high, and there's always soldiers at the top to watch what's going on surrounding the area. So that inspires this product, which is also an innocent toy, where actually the wall. Do I have a mouse here? No problem. So the wall, these lines on the wood, it's from olive wood. It's local wood. You saw the producer who works with olive wood. So he does that, and the lines represents the wall, and the watchtower is the handle in the middle, and you actually spin it. It's called vicious circle because the Dutch designer thought that it's really a vicious way of thinking to control people by putting a wall around them. This is one of the artists who participated in 2015 from Jerusalem, Arij, an amazing girl, and I will show you here the video of the product she designed. It's this bag here from leather. The leather is from Palestine, and she wanted, after passing actually the checkpoint, which I will show you photos of, It was really a hard experience for Palestinians that day and for internationals. And they came up with the design of this product in 1 week to deal with the hard experience you go through in this checkpoints that actually designed in the before for cows, industrial cows, to be milked. So people pass through this in thousands every day. You stand in the line here, and you stand for so long, and there is so many things that makes the experience not understandable. There's a handle at the bottom here that could bring the bag like that, and then she's removing all the metals off her body because she needs to pass an X-ray test. So there is a pocket here for all the things that might fall. Here for the mobile that you want to take fast and put fast, for selfies maybe. And here the place for a wallet, of course. And here is my favorite because I always have belts. So I put my belt here and I catch my pants like that while passing this checkpoint. And there's a surprise or a secret in this bag. That there is a metal thing inside that shows this to the soldier when it passes the X-ray. So there is no offending in this symbol, but it's a very important symbol for the Palestinians because it's the key of return. Why we call it like that? Because Palestinians in 48 were kicked out of their villages and they were told that they will come back in, I don't have time, I need to finish. So they have to, they will come back in 2 weeks to their houses, but they didn't. And they kept their keys and they're still outside of Palestine believing they will come back. So, that's to brush your memories and dust when you pass the checkpoint. That's the blind man who does this product, drilling and putting the hair inside. So we work with marginalized people. Another thing about the checkpoints. This is a passport that shows your passport from both sides because Palestinians always have too much documentation. So if you open it, hide and seek, but we call it hide and see. So you open it from this side, you show something, you open it from the other side, you show something else. I won't get into that. He talked a lot about water, Malik. But we don't only deal with politics, but we actually also do beautiful things. This is an olive leaf that is made into silver, and every leaf is actually made as a mold, and the mold is broken because the designer put the leaf, burned the leaf, pour the silver, and then breaks the mold. So everyone is really particular. A Swedish designer made this landscape of Palestine. Instead of drawing with sand, he actually drew with the 4 ingredients of za'atar, a spice that we eat, that we pick in the wild. Thyme, yeah, thyme is it's wild thyme of Palestine, and it's sumac, sesame, the plant itself, and salt. This is a product that talks about that 1/3 of the food in the world is thrown without being eaten, so it's a product to talk about the international problem. This is, we have the designer here, Ghadir, and this is a product that actually the sound of the sellers in Palestine, and if you scan the QR code, you will hear the sound of the sellers in Palestine. Ghadir wanted to take Jerusalem with her everywhere she goes because she missed it when she left. So there's, So that's a seller of kind of bread that is a bit sweet. And this is a juice. He's selling a juice. So if you scan the QR code on this product, you will hear these sounds on SoundCloud. He's selling ice cream, a very old company that sells ice cream. So we try to actually grow in the hardships of being in Palestine, just like this woman who waters plants grown in her grenades, the grenades that killed her children. So that's what we try to do, to actually turn the negative into positive, and that have been growing since then. Yeah, grenade, like bomb. We have been growing. We didn't imagine we will reach where we are. People invite us, visit us all the time, and in a week or 10 days we will be in the TED model. Also this year we won the Henry van de Velde Communication Award, and we're really proud of that. See you at the TED model. Thank you very much. I'm sorry for being